welcome back to the patch. We're going to go ahead and do a patch update today. We'll go through the individual fruits and plants and kind of give you an update on what's going on with each one of them. Not going to give any weights or details there just because we got the 30, 40, and 50 day contest for Pumpkin Wars, but you'll be able to kind of get a general basis on how they're doing. Alright, so we have the 2376 plant here. After the split that occurred while it was on the scale, I moved the scale to the 2195 and then pollinated 2 fruit on this plant to either do a late weigh off or just for decoration and or get seeds. But anyways, this one here is about a 10-day old fruit, and that is extremely small. Looks a little wrinkly and probably did not take, as well as there's one over there. Color is still really light, even though my best efforts of giving it fish fertilizer, kale mag, and iron, and just trying different things. Small leaves and light on the leaves. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this plant today. It's not really worth the time and effort and keeping up with it. And what'll happen is by cleaning this up, I'll get a lot more airflow around the next 2 plants. So in case there's something going on with it, help prevent disease on the other plants and just kind of get rid of that. So I'm going to go ahead and clean all that up before I end up ripping this out to show you the main vine on this plant. Was really healthy. I'm really pleased with the health on all my vines at this point in the year. Before I go ahead and pull the plant, just show you the health of the main vine. This is where the scale fruit was originally set. Very thick vine, very healthy vine. I'm very pleased with the health of all my vines on my plants. So go ahead and get this cleaned up. Plant's a little ragged, especially on the older growth, but overall not too awful bad for this time of year. Alright, we're standing at the stump end of the 2376. I've taken all the side vines off, and pretty healthy stump overall. No leaking, no issues there. Roots coming out look good. One thing I'll point out is I did not bury any of the top nodes on the main. I was focusing on the bottom tap and just health, and this is how big the taproot would have been coming out of each one of these nodes. So pretty interesting just to see that kind of died back. They just kind of nub out like that, but kind of give you an idea of how big the upper taproot could get. However, I was, like I said, going for plant health and just focusing on that bottom taproot. See if we can get one of these taproots up. Looks like despite not bearing, that taproot made it all the way down, which was nice. And there's a taproot there, you can see. See if I can flip this over so you can see pretty healthy taproot there. That one's almost as big as my thumb, maybe a little bit smaller, and again, still healthy. This one's in there pretty good. This one feels like a good one, but looks like a little mycorrhiza colony there. And again, taproot looks pretty good, no discoloration. That's what you want to see. You know, I usually get, rot in the knuckles this time of year where I'm fighting it, and I don't see really any of that going on. I got a little bit of brownness there, but not too bad. So, stinks pulling a plant this time of year, but get to learn from it, see what kind of health we got here, and try and maintain that health for future seasons. So, see what we got coming up next. So this is the crown of the plant. This is what comes out of the soil there, and I cut it in half there to kind of give you a cross section. Usually when people lose their stumps, between this part, which is your initial part that comes out of the soil, and that first knuckle or two where your secondaries come out. You usually get blowouts. A lot of pressure builds up in here, and you can even see a bit of a kink here when we go to lay them down, so you got to be real careful of kinks. Luckily this one, it's really healthy. Don't see any like real brown or discoloration in there, so that was good to see. Mostly all green. There's a tinge of yellow there, so might have got some issues by the end of the season, but like I said, for mid-July, almost we're getting close to July 20th, not having any issues. Usually the first week of July I start having issues with that, so really good things to see there. Definitely can improve upon my fungicide program, but definitely looks good overall, so happy with that. All right, so we'll go ahead and get on into it with the 1965.5 Rotaball. That's this fruit right here. It's doing pretty good for the size plant. Like I said, it's about 150 square feet. Still haven't measured the plant itself to know the exact square footage, but you can kind of tell it's pretty much just got this side 3 or 4 secondaries and that side about 4 secondaries, and it's doing extremely well for the plant size. So very pleased with that overall. Not doing a whole lot to it except for pesticide and fungicide, just so that it doesn't become a breeding ground. I do have some powdery mildew that popped up in the last few days with the rain, so I did hit that yesterday evening. So hopefully that takes the care of the brunt of the PM for now. Go ahead and we'll go over to the squash plant. So this is the 563.5 tile squash. I believe it's somewhere around 24 days old, if I'm not mistaken. 24, 25 days old. Not too bad. Again, secondaries didn't really take off too crazy. The fruit itself is doing pretty well. I'm happy with it. No real concerns as far as that goes. No splittings. I don't have any fans or anything on it. It did have one minor split right here that healed up just fine. No issues. So just kind of keep her rolling and try and keep the leaves as happy and healthy as possible. We'll just go ahead and swing on over to the 150 contest plant. This is a 1620.5 tile. I do have a fruit set. It's approximately 8 or 9 days old, maybe 10, but for this size plant, doing pretty well. I do have a backup right there set just in case. I'll probably cut that loose here shortly. And then I have started to swing some of the, I'm running a flag pattern this way and these secondaries that way, and then any of the stronger secondaries I'm kind of swooping in, so I left myself room. So you can kind of see that happening there, swooping it, and I'll just weave it in between those vines. I've got some weaker ones on the opposite side, so it's kind of working out well. We'll go ahead and get on to the next plant. All right, we're on the 2493 Wolf plant now. Still got probably another 100 square foot to fill in. A little bit over there and some tertiary and secondary. Same thing on this side. Fruit's doing pretty good overall. It's one of my slower plants out the gate. Did well here on the back side as far as plant growth. Pretty healthy overall. Main vine's doing good as well, checking those spots. Obviously I'm having some grass and weed issues. Gonna use a new product. Don't really want to say what it is yet until I kind of try it out. I'd hate to say something and then somebody use it and kill their plant or something. So I'm gonna be testing it out in a couple different spots. It's a grass killer. Many people probably know about it, but it just focuses on grass rather than broadleaf plants, and won't even work, I believe, on most other weeds. But I'm gonna give it a shot and see how it does. This is the Wolf. Let me pull the sheet back for you. It's gonna be a pretty pumpkin. Good shape on it. Excited to see how that ends up coming to fruition as it grows, and see how that shape turns out. But really like it. I think it's going to be a good solid fruit here in the back half of the year. So go on to the next plant. So we had some rain, so it took me a minute to get back here, but this is where the 2376 was. This is the back side, or the first side of the secondaries, and the stump / crown side of the plant. This is a 40-foot wide plant, so it's approximately 20 feet on either side. It's a very wide plant. I typically grow the widest that I can on secondaries, especially early on in the season, just because that's when they're the most aggressive. So it's typically how I do it. Some people do a little bit different, but not sure it really matters. Just kind of do what works for you. Go across the plant here. Overall looks pretty healthy. Again, struggle with some of the weeds and the grasses. Something to work on for next year, especially. Got a lot of the vines terminated. Got to finish off just a few stragglers, but I try not to do too many in one day. Got a lot of secondary and tertiary growth here. Got another 150 square feet to fill in. This one is on the scale, so I will give you the readout on this. I think this one is 22 days old today, and actual weight is 243 as of right now. It was sitting about 10 or 15 pounds heavy to what it taped, so it's right about right where it should be. Kind of track the heaviness as it goes, but it's been a good growing fruit so far. Pull the blanket off here so you can see her. Very white fruit. It's got some cool little variations. I don't know if the camera picks it up, a little striping in there, so hopefully that kind of comes out. I think it'd be a very pretty fruit as far as the white goes as the season goes on, so we'll see how that ends up. Kind of get a little bit of a size comparison from the side. It's gotten a lot wider. It was a kind of a barrel shape before. It's got a lot wider, and it's starting to get a little bit of a crown on top, so it's getting taller as well. The mother of this seed was quite a tall fruit as well, so hopefully that continues to carry through. All right, we'll go on to the last plant and fruit. All right, we're at the 1989.5 Conway. Fruit is doing okay. It was up to about 31 pounds per day last week, and then it dropped a little bit for about 3 or 4 days. So I'm thinking that there was a little bit of a draw on the plant, so the plant was actually growing and drawing away from the fruit. So I've terminated some of these vines. I do want to finish filling in some of this spot here and get those completely filled in right there. So I'm hoping once everything gets terminated, it'll start to climb up again. It hasn't dropped drastically off, so I'm not concerned that it's going down or anything like that, and the plant looks overall healthy. It just hasn't gotten up to the big weight gains that I would like. So overall, good solid fruit. Hopefully it's growing on the inside, because it does have heavy genetics, and that might be where the measurement dip is, but we'll see. Should be a good solid fruit. Just got to get her to the finish line. We should have DAP 40 in 2 days. Hopefully us and the other Pumpkin War guys will be able to release day 30 numbers to you soon, and then you'll be able to see what she taped. All right, guys, that's about all I got on this one, and catch you on the next one.